June 8, 1967, day 4 of the war. During the first 3 days of the Six-Day War, Israel had neutralized the threats from Egypt in the south and Jordan in the east. The Egyptians were in retreat, as were Arab forces in the West Bank. But June 8th began with one of the most tragic accidents of the war. Israeli planes mistakenly attacked the USS Liberty, an American electronic surveillance ship sailing just offshore. The attack was called off as soon as the mistake was realized, but not before 34 American sailors were killed. Prime Minister Eshkol conveyed his profound condolences to the Americans. During the 19 years that Jordan controlled the West Bank, Israel's width at its narrowest was 9 miles. This made it possible for an attacking army to cut the country in half, rendering it defenseless and threatening the very existence of the Jewish state. It also made it possible for enemy forces to shell and bomb Israeli coastal cities like Tel Aviv from the hills of the West Bank. Now, with the West Bank in Jewish hands, Israeli-controlled territory was 44 miles wide. Still only an hour's drive, but an area of land that could be realistically defended. Israel now held both the coastal plain to the west of the hills and the Jordan Valley to the east, a desert and natural barrier between Israel and the countries of Jordan, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. But for many Israelis and Jews around the world, the West Bank was much more than just territory needed for security. It was the birthplace of the Jewish people. Also known by the biblical names of Judea and Samaria, the West Bank was the home of the Jewish patriarchs of the Bible, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It had been central to Jewish identity and had maintained continuous Jewish presence for 3,000 years. The fact that it was now under the control of a Jewish state was deeply moving for many people worldwide. Throughout the day, Israeli forces consolidated their control of the West Bank, an area that was home to 600,000 Arab residents. Meanwhile, in the south, Israeli forces pushed towards the Suez Canal, leading Egypt to accept a ceasefire late that night. In the north, however, Syrian artillery bombardment continued all along the border. Israel now moved to focus its forces on Syria.